Aloha. Today, I wanted to go into kind of carry off of combine two previous topics into a segue of expanding it about nationwide and around the world, and the psychological inputs of these existent, like these parts of our experience. So the main ones were the stuff that goes into our bodies, how it gets there, in food, air, water, thoughts, um, and the origin of these uh, these notes, where this music comes from. Is it natural? Is it artificial? What was it created for? So like the music of this is the natural notes of wolf speak. So if this is a song from this being, and this has a chemical makeup to create this being, and then the spirit feels it and experiences it at the same time, what would be the chemical makeup of and intent of aspartame, let's say? Or like, what does aspartame do in its existence? And even further, from my own personal experience, what does the military do to an individual? How far does the programming go to make basically making like mild flavored zombies? So you create a culture, a tribe of individuals who who are now part of a giant family, a big family that follows these values. Like for the Army example, the values you learn, the 7 Army Corps values are loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. So those are and they go in order of like the acronym of leadership, LDRSHIP. So these are like, that's like the backbone, that's the spinal column, the nervous system of the Army. And these codes, they get repeated over and over again. You have to memorize them. You have to you have to repeat them. You have to know what they mean. You have to know their definitions. And they have a very definite definition, like a specific definition. It doesn't really move out of one sort of tunnel vision perspective. It stays in there, and any veering outside of that will kind of disrupt or dismantle the infrastructure of that matrix. So these moments have to be bombarded. So in the military, you have you start off with basic training, and then you have your reception area where you learn, you get all your stuff, you get your numbers, and you go into basic training where it's just a removal system. It's like a blanketing out system where they just like shave your head. They're closing off your crown chakra. They fill your body with food that's full of chemicals to bulk you up, to fill you with a lot. This is in the reception area to bulk you up. They have a lot of kids coming right out of high school. They want to get some kind of mass on them, and also kind of like let them climatize to the fact that their entire existence is now uprooted, and now they are a part of a world that is brand new, and at its essence, at its core, is designed to destroy um, and we're not even really privy to, at our best days, when you're in the military, to even be a part of any kind of creation. You are in destruction mode when you're in that space, on every layer, and the only thing that's creative about that space is the tribal family culture that gets created by the humans that are living in that space, wearing those uniforms. The human beings keep that reality flowing by the belief that it's based in honor, and based in morality, and based in heart. And just like we believe in money, because at its heart it says, in God we trust, and then we have these definitions of God get placed down with other versions of our education, various versions of education. Is the biggest education thing on the planet right now is the television and the internet. Those two things combined, so like YouTube is becoming, is kind of like consuming all of that, and then Google is already consumed YouTube. So it's one big funneling of information, and one big movement that is being channeled. It's being moved here and there by people who have been doing this, making these moves for a long time. So none of this stuff, even the stuff that we're paying attention, say we're the mob, none of the stuff that's going on in the gladiator arena, whether that's politics or Hollywood, or even even wars, none of that stuff going on in those arenas is even the surface layer stuff of that's not even the surface layer. That's just the illusion of the surface layer stuff that's going on on a global scale, and even an individual scale. Our storylines are much deeper. The human storyline is much deeper than what gets sold on the everyday mainstream media. Way deeper. Everybody knows. Everybody can feel that with the there's no difference in that, with the difference between that and the difference between like regular walking around and talking to somebody on the streets, and walking around a corner in that same street and talking to a cartoon character walking around the street. Like, yeah, there's these different dimensions, these worlds that exist, and it's not as cut and dry as it's not as cut and dry as the various outlets would like you to believe. It's not as complicated as these outlets would like you to believe, or outputs, I should say, would like you to believe. Our math, our natural math, our natural geometry, our natural harmonies that we exist as and within on this plane of existence, they're not as complex as we are led to believe by scientists and astronaut stories and all the millions and billions of miles away, and the layers and layers of math that keeps us away from it. These ideas, these storylines keep these mid-level degrees of information sharing, like that goes on in the university system. It keeps the validity of that afloat. It keeps the reality of that in line with what's going on in your home, in your dreams, and how you dream. Like, oh, I wish I could have this, or I wish I could do this. One day I'm gonna do this. These are all dreams that get channeled into our dream world and eventually our waking state when we materialize them in our fabric. That's why when you get what you ask for, if magicians create a space that creates a world that is a world of people who only ask for so much because they're only aware of so much within their own asking and creating abilities, then there's sub layers in there that can be manipulated by people who are in understanding of this energy that exists. And that's what's going on right now with the illusion of power, the illusion of, like, anybody on the news right now, anybody that they have as a guest on the news right now, the biggest news stations everywhere, even the politicians, let them walk into somebody's house. Let them walk into somebody's house and talk to somebody's family, and you'll see how real and how fake that shit is. You'll see how real and how fake all of this bullshit on TV is, and all these people that say that they're in charge and say that they're making moves and doing things for humanity. This all bullshit. They are making moves for their interests. They're making moves for money, for whatever the next movie line is, the next movie reel, whatever the next commercial to be sold to humanity. That's what these mouthpieces are out there on the television circuit. Even in Hollywood, all the storylines being played, they're trying to sell you this next phone, trying to sell you that wrist iPhone so they can sell you the microchip, or they can sell you all this other stuff. How many cars do you need from how many commercials about buying cars comes on? You be having 1 million cars. How many insurance things do you need? This is all to have you dependent and vested in, which on a deeper layer than that bases on money. See, not only do you need money, but you need money to protect your money. And then they have all these commercials to reassure you that you need money to protect your money. Meanwhile, nobody's expanding to the human protection or resource-based connections with each other, because we don't have time for that. We got work to do. We got to go to work. We got to do all these other things because we have been micromanaged into a divide and conquer separation space. That micromanagement has taken us into micromanaging our dreams and separating from our dreams. So once that happens, when you wake up, you don't even know what you dreamt of last night or dreamt of the day before, because your dreams don't matter anymore, because there's so much busyness, there's so much time and bombardment within there. So we're not just bombarded with the existence of a timepiece, but the multiple realities that are based upon that timepiece. Your very livelihood, work, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 days out of 7 weeks on this planet. The norm is to go work for something. The norm is to go give those days away to an individual that is holding some kind of space, to give your energy away to that time, and and that's the extent of this earth plane. Meanwhile, what keeps that going on is the sublayer of sucking the blood of not only the planet but the people of this planet, the resources. This goes into the sweatshops of all over the rest of the world and all this other stuff on a massive scale. And then the guilt and the blame gets put back on the individual in order to keep the big wigs from being revealed for the massive storyline going on in the first place. So that's how the fear that gets instilled, sublayered with guilt that gets instilled for being a part of this broken system that was designed and meant to be broken. There's these layers that we self-destruct. We destroy our own power. We destroy our own visions and awareness of where the beginnings, the roots, the origins of madness, the origins of separation, the origins of lack and control. The origins of all this has been dug up, destroyed, and built over with something else. And that something else is what's happening today. So I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm gonna do another video, continue in a second. But until next time, thank you for joining me, hanging out. Until next time, peace, love, and harmony.